Look at what we got here, bitch.
A new joint.
So I always avoid the ones that have like some weird like liquidy shit in the middle.
It's not liquidy though.
It's not
It's
liquidy?
it's like it's hard. It's like gum, but not gum. It's a soft berry filling. It says. I don't
Okay,
know.
but compared to just the one without that, what's better?
This, I think.
Really?
'Cause
Damn,
it's
that's
like
a
you're
bold
getting,
statement.
yeah, you're getting a double bite because the other one you're just biting into like air and you're just biting the other side.
Damn, so I think next time I get some sour shit, I'm gonna have to get that.
They're new. Like they're hard to find, I guess, because I've never seen these before.
Yeah, because I've seen similar things to that where like it's got something in the middle of it, and I always avoid that with the sour stuff, and even with donuts, like Boston cream donuts, like
Yeah.
it looks like chocolate on the outside, but then they have cream on the inside, and I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want somebody nutting in the middle of my donut.
My biggest thing is I always want a Boston cream donut, but then I'm always scared that it's going to be a jelly donut.
I like jelly. I like the, but I don't like. Well, it's not that I don't like the jelly with the powdered sugar, but I like the jelly with the regular sugar. That shit, it's one of my favorites actually.
There's two different stuffed jelly donuts?
Yeah. So there's the jelly donuts with the powdered sugar, where it looks
Yeah.
like people are
The
doing
Boston
cocaine
Eclair
or some shit.
Yeah.
But then they have jelly donuts that just have sugar on it, and that's better to me. I think that tastes better than the powdered sugar.
Oh, so yeah, so you won't get confused. I like the Boston. I think the Boston Eclairs have the powdered sugar like on it, not real sugar.
Okay, I never liked any Boston cream donut. I always felt like the cream was just like why would I want the cream when I could have something else? Why would I want the cream when I could have just a regular chocolate donut with sprinkles maybe?
But like that cream was banging. It's like a vanilla pudding in there.
No, and you know what? I even think like cake is a little overrated. Like the icing on cake. It depends. Certain kinds of cakes I love, like strawberry shortcake, I think is fucking super banging.
See, I don't want strawberries in my cake.
Okay, so there's a lot of people who are like anti-fruit on their dessert shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in that camp. But certain cakes I'm just totally indifferent to. Like there's certain kinds of cakes where I'm like, like I'd rather
ice
have a
cream cake
donut
all day.
Donuts are above cakes to me.
Nah, I think you're fucked up there.
Damn, that's crazy. You disagree on that?
Donuts are like, in my opinion, just like a quick snack type of thing. Like it, but it's not
Donuts anytime, son. I'll eat
it's
donuts
not even,
anytime.
I would put donuts more in the breakfast category than I would a dessert category.
I put it in any category. You can have it for breakfast, but honestly,
Yeah.
if you're eating a donut for breakfast, you better be having an old-fashioned donut. Because if you're not, you're a crackhead. Like you're
What do you mean, like some crazy like cookies and cream donut or something?
I'm
What do
saying
you mean,
you can't.
old-fashioned donut?
The old-fashioned donut is just, you don't know what the old-fashioned is like? If you go to like Dunkin' Donuts and have an old-fashioned one, it's just like,
The glazed joint?
no, it's not glazed. It's like glazed without the glaze on it, kind of. It's like, just like.
Oh yeah, no. See,
But that's
so here's my thing.
That's a plain ass donut. But you have to have that if you have it for breakfast. Because if you have some OD sugary shit for breakfast, you're gonna look like a child. Like people are gonna be like, "Why are you eating that for breakfast?"
I guess so. But
Yeah.
there's two types of donuts, and I've had this conversation with people before. There's like a glazed donut from Dunkin' Donuts that has like that puffy inside of it, where it's sort of like airy and just like you bite into it and it just like mushes. You know what I'm talking about?
It's like a coffee
glazed
roll.
donut.
You're talking about like a coffee roll. Has it got the
No.
glaze on it?
No, like just a glazed donut. Like
Yeah, I know
You
what
know
a
what a
glazed
glazed
donut
donut-
tastes like. Of course, yeah.
yeah, and it's just like mushy. Like you just bite it and it's. But then there's another type of donut that's like cakey.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. There's some that are like fluffy and soft, and others that are
Yes.
like almost thick.
Yes, I don't fuck with the like thick ones, like the cakey ones. That's
Funny.
not a good donut.
What I was going to ask you next is, what do you make of the chocolate donuts that are like the thick cake donuts? It doesn't even have chocolate icing on top of it, but it's like a thick cake
Those
chocolate
are okay.
donut.
I think I grew up on those. Those are like, ooh, the chocolate donut, and it's got like almost it's almost like a coating, right? It's like a. It's
No,
like,
so there's two different kinds. One of them is like they take like a regular donut and then they put chocolate icing on top of the donut. That's that's the original one. But then there's the other chocolate donut, which is like a chocolate cake donut, where it's just like the whole thing is
The whole thing is chocolate, right?
Yes, the whole thing
And
is
you
chocolate.
cut it open, and it's like yellowish in the middle.
No, not yellowish in the middle. It's chocolate. The whole thing is chocolate.
Oh, I don't even know if I've ever seen that before.
All right, I got to pull it up for you. I got to pull up a picture of it for you.
I know. Look up Entenmann's chocolate donut, and they used to have like the chocolate donut with like it's almost like a coating, like a rubbery, not rubbery, but it's like a chocolate coating on the shit.
I'm clicking Entenmann's chocolate donut. Okay, no. So you got to.
Let me see the picture.
I know the one you're talking about. Hold on, I'll show everybody. But this is not what I'm referring to.
I'm actually mad confused.
It's like that's the one you're talking about. That's
what I'm talking about.
Okay,
yes.
now drop that out of your mind completely.
Okay.
Now think of Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
And the options of chocolate donuts at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a few different. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
that to me, the one at Dunkin' Donuts is not like cakey. That's more like the glazed donut. But
there's
like,
multiple chocolate ones at Dunkin' Donuts that are
really?
different. Yeah.
See, I'm not in that world. I don't even entertain the chocolate donuts. I'm straight like either vanilla frosting, rainbow sprinkles. I'm not a chocolate like.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Now I'll show you. Here is one of the. This is one of the ones the chocolate Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, so that's a glazed donut with chocolate shit on top.
Right, exactly. That's one of them. And then here's the other one that I was referring to when I was asking you, what do you think of it?
I think I know what you're going to show me.
You do. That
shit. Yeah, hell no to that shit. That shit just looks like an old-ass man.
So you don't like that one. And then there's...
No, that looks like when you get...
And then there's one where they go way too far, and look at that one. How the bottom ones have chocolate on top of the full chocolate.
Yeah, that's OD. Yeah.
I feel like that chocolate one always filled me up so quick. Like you take 3 bites of it and you're like, I'm full.
And that one's like a cakey donut, right?
Very cakey. Super cakey.
Yeah. That reminds me of like what my car used to look like when like the snow and salt used to get on the shit.
The sludge, yeah. You get like the grayish, brownish colored snow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like the other one. I like the other chocolate donut better. Like the other Dunkin' Donuts one is better.
Mm-hmm.
But even just even talking about Dunkin' Donuts, though, Krispy Kremes are on another level. Like, they're way better than Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like, the first time somebody bites into a Krispy Kreme glazed donut, they're just like I didn't know this was possible.
One too.
What's that?
Like a warm one also. Yeah. Like, if it was just, like fresh off the press.
So that'll change somebody's life. Somebody will be like, I didn't know this was possible.
God. Yeah, really would.
Because I was raised on Dunkin' Donuts, and then the first time I ever tried a glazed Krispy Kreme, I was just like, oh, this opened up a whole new world. I didn't know that this was a thing. Like, I didn't know this was an option. This is the most delicious donut I've ever had in my life. Then there's this other place where my mom used to get these apple cider cinnamon donut things from like a fresh bakery from like a small thing and like upstate.
See, now
New York.
those are thick kind. That's a thick cakey ones, I think.
It's almost like in between both of them, to be honest.
Oh,
it's
really?
not the soft fluffy one and it's not the super thick cakey ones. It's kind of like in between.
Mm-hmm.
But that shit, you pop those bitches in the microwave for 18 seconds. Forget it, son. I mean, that's like, you're talking like unbelievable, almost on par with Krispy Kreme.
There's some donuts that are just staples to the donut game, but they gotta go. So that big the big monster tire truck looking shit.
Monster tire.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't actually.
It's the color of a glazed donut. It look like picture like a monster truck tire with like the slashes in it and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm sure I do, but I'm not picturing this. Dunkin'.
Type in Dunkin' Donuts donut options.
Dunkin' Donuts donut options.
It's like it's been around. I feel like it was the first donut ever invented. Like,
nah, it's got to be the old-fashioned one. It's got to be the oldest one.
What? Just a regular? It's like.
Oh, I see it.
You know what I'm saying? It looks like a fucking tire.
It's called a French cruller or some shit like that. French Kreller.
That shit's got to go.
Yeah. If you're ordering that in the 2000s, you fucked up.
Because it's not even like if it was just a glazed donut
it's and it's like right there.
Yes, it's that weird shit. Yeah. Like,
why does that exist?
If you're getting an assorted donut box, that shit is always in there. Like if Bill comes back from a meeting and he's late or some shit, and he's like, "Oh, someone got donuts," they're like, "Yeah, there's a couple left."
And it's just always shit. That.
and like the deep chocolate shit that you like. Those are the two that are
No,
left.
I said I didn't like those. I said
Oh,
those.
I thought you said you fucked with the deep
No, the
chocolate
other
shit.
ones I like better. I like the other ones better.
Oh.
The regular
Those-
chocolate, like the chocolate one that's the regular donut, like the glazed donut with the icing on top.
Yeah, but you can always tell which ones are the wackest shit because like if someone gets Munchkins used to be the most popular thing to like bring to a teacher
Yeah,
or a
and
class
I'll
or
tell
some
you
shit.
what, I had them recently. Now they're kind of underrated. Like I actually was like, these are secretly sort of really good.
Certain ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hierarchy, but how do you rank them? I'm gonna pull them up now.
So it goes like this. I think there's only like 4 options. There's glazed,
Something like that.
there's
Yeah.
jelly, there's chocolate, and then there's that like cinnamon like cake type shit.
I'm
The
pulling them
shits
up
that
now.
always stick around at the bottom of the box are this like cakey type shit.
Yeah.
And,
Okay. So
and the
hold up.
chocolate joints.
Yeah, you got you got the glazed ones. You got the
always the first to go.
jelly ones. You got the
Maybe
chocolate cakey ones.
whack.
Then you got, I think, the cinnamony ones you're talking about, and then there's just like a white powder one, or maybe that's a jelly one with white powder with it. I'm not sure if that's jelly or not.
Maybe, yeah.
But in my mind, 1 and 2, jelly, and then the glazed. Those are the top 2.
See, jelly always go because it's that glazed one, and sometimes you're trying to reach for because glazed just are hot off the press. Those are the first shits to go no matter what.
Everybody loves the glaze. Yeah.
So people will default to the jelly because 1, they think it's a glazed, and 2, it's still got that glazed type effect to it where you could live with that jelly taste for a second if you don't really want to fuck with it.
I love jelly donuts. You're not too hot on jelly donuts.
No. I don't know how jelly, like, why isn't it like a strawberry, like cream inside that shit? Why did jelly become so popular?
Doesn't it taste like strawberry? Isn't it like strawberry jelly? I think
I don't know.
it is.
Maybe I haven't given it a proper chance.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you said you're just not a fan of like fruity flavors on desserts or whatever, and that might partially explain it. But to me, I've always loved jelly donuts, man. Actually, no, wrong. My favorite, or when I was a kid, it was all the chocolate donuts, like the glazed chocolate one with the chocolate icing on top. I could eat chocolate donuts all day and all night. But then later on, I feel like in my teens, I gave the jelly with the plain sugar on it a spin, and I was like, oh shit, this is my new favorite.
That shit is good.
It scares me how many donuts I could eat in like one sitting. I could probably just knock down like 4 or 5
I feel
jelly
like you
donuts.
always, were like a big, like you could crush 4 donuts and just be good.
I
Like
could
you would
crush
eat
anything.
the long shits. I'm a big fan of the long shit now, like the long glazed shit with the icing on top.
I'm sure that's delicious. I've never had it, but
so good.
but not for nothing. Even the coffee roll is just like a big ass glazed donut. Like that's what the coffee roll is.
I think you told me that when we were in LA. I was like, I want multiple donuts, and you were like, just get the coffee roll shit. It's like glazed donut on crack.
That's right. It's like you're having 2 or 3 glazed donuts, and it's just a coffee roll.
Yeah, I think if your Dunkin' Donuts is doing what it's supposed to be doing, at the end of the night, if they don't sell the shit, they like put it in a garbage bag and throw it all away.
If they do that, that's fucked up. They should be giving that to homeless people and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like that's not cool. Don't.
But
do
we
that.
were because you remember when we used to go to Baskin Robbins Dunkin' Donuts like super late at night in Rochelle?
Yep.
And I think the guy was just like putting them all in a bag one night, and he just started like giving them out for free.
Oh, that's what's up.
That would suck. Just like working at that shit with a whole bunch of just like kids that are there, knowing they're going to be there for like 6 hours.
And they're annoying as fuck.
Yeah, and there's just no end in sight for you.
Could we just establish that eating like it? I would rather have a stale donut than no donut. Like I will gladly take a stale ass donut over no donut.
I don't know if I agree with you on that shit.
Damn.
Because sometimes I get a late night donut and it's stale, and I'm like, "Fuck, this is not good at all."
I'm solid on this one, son. I'm not budging on this.
You might sway me a little bit because I could still eat a glazed donut when it's like pretty firm.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you get if you get a donut that's already a donut that we're not too hot on, like the cakey chocolate one.
Yeah.
Then that'll be like, I don't even know if I want it because it's just not my favorite. But if you give me any of the donuts that are in like my top 5 and it's stale, I'll fucking crush it.
You're good on it.
Yeah.
I've
always been a big eater. Like my McDonald's orders back in like my teens was legendary. Like teens and early 20s.
Oh.
I would crush like maybe 4 or 5 like burgers or McChickens, and then throw fries in there too, and maybe even 2 apple pies to boot.
Yeah.
Like, it was legendary.
Yeah, you've had some epic orders. I think someone once put cheese on the $1 McChicken, and you were like, "What?" And then like,
that's what I would say.
I think we were both confused. Like, you could manipulate like.
Yeah, I didn't believe. I was like, "That's
McChicken?
genius."
Yeah.
And then what I did is I heard somebody was like, "All right, you got to put cheese on the McChicken, and then you got to throw Big Mac sauce on it." And I was like,
"Oh,
what have you done?"
They used to sell at that deli. What was it, Lang's maybe or something like that? They had that chicken sandwich. Do you remember? It was like one of the numbers.
I think you're talking about the Av Deli, and it was called the Ruland, I think.
Oh yes. Oh, that was Oh my God, I would go for one of those
so
right
good.
now.
It was like
chicken
cutlet
cheese,
with bacon on it, cheese, and like honey mustard or something like that.
Oh, it was like a Thousand Island dressing.
Oh no, you're right. It was Thousand Island. Yeah. So good, good. You get that on a roll.
So that was so banging. Oh man, that was so
every
good.
Fucking
that memory.
every like food thing that we just mentioned, we just gave them the best free advertising ever.
Yeah, I know.
Because
they deserve it though, because that sandwich was on point. Like, it's got to be such a good feeling to like put a good ass like recipe together or something like that. Like if you're a chef and you just knock it out the park with like sometimes a good chef just eyeballs ingredients. Like they'll just put like, a splash of this pepper or sprinkle this on top. And I'm impressed by like chefs, like the fact that they could just come up with recipe. Like someone had to have thought of recipes like back in the day. Like they must have been making shitty ass food. Then there was one smart ass dude that was like, let's put pepper on this shit and, season the steak a little bit and not just eat it raw. And they're like, that guy's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like an art form being a chef.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's not easy, man. They work long hours. It's hot in the kitchen. What's that?
I think a lot of chefs are like, have the, the perception that they're assholes.
Oh, people think they're assholes?
Yeah, a lot of chefs. I've been in a couple kitchens and the chefs are just very like either like weird in their own way and like very like demanding to get shit done just because like they're in control of that kitchen. And I guess like there's a lot of important shit that has to go on. But I just remember working at a restaurant one time and the chef like they were like don't even go. I was like doing coat check and they were like don't step into the kitchen. I think I walked in there for some shit and it just froze and the dude was like, What the fuck you like? What do you want? I was like, oh, they just asked me for some shit. And they're like, don't come in here. Like, I was like, oh fuck.
You know who was a chef? Anthony Bourdain. He was a chef. That dude was awesome, man.
Yeah, he did a lot of shit that he's just like genuinely passionate about.
Yeah, his show was really good. I always used to make fun of him because I thought he was like, this was before I ever gave his show a chance. Mm-hmm. Because all I saw was like the promotional materials. This was back when I think his show was on TLC, where it was no reservations, and he would like go around the world and eat all the stuff. And he just always struck me as like trying to be Mr. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got my sunglasses. Pff, me, I'm just traveling the world, bro. No big deal. Like, it just struck me as like, all right, dude, reel it in a little bit. Like, why are you trying to be so cool? But then I actually watched when his show got to CNN. It was like late at night one night. I was like, oh, whatever, I'll watch this. I just
supposedly he's like a badass. My brother said he was like really good at jiu-jitsu. Or I don't know if he was really good, but he was really into jiu-jitsu. Yeah,
when I actually watched his show, I was like, this shit is fucking really interesting. Like he's really smart. His show is really thoughtful, more thoughtful than anything else on CNN by a mile and a half. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he was into a lot of stuff. He was into jiu-jitsu. He was a chef for all those years. He had like a drug problem when he was younger, and then he got off drugs. I think it was heroin, but apparently I think he was still pretty big into booze when he ended up killing himself. But yeah, that was a really sad thing because I was into his show so much that I DVR it, and I don't DVR a lot of shit, so I would watch it, on a pretty regular basis. He put together some like masterpieces of shows where he would go to like he was in Libya one time eating the food, and this was like right after Gaddafi had fallen or something like that, and it was like really sketchy to even be there. There's all these militia groups and shit, and they had to like hide the cameras at certain times.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. His show was good, man. His show was really good. So
I'm the fucking opposite of that motherfucker. If I go to a different country, I was in Czech Republic, and I kept asking my sister, I was like, I'll eat chicken, and if there's a McDonald's or some shit, I'll go there.
Well, that's the problem, is that you and me both have, we have like the palate, we have the food taste of like a fucking 12-year-old. We're stuck in that, like we're literally like, you got chicken nuggets, you got pizza, you got fucking burgers. You got like
I feel like everybody does that in some sense. Like
nah, not really, son.
No, you don't think so?
No, because I've been to like a legit restaurant with like my mom and my family, and like looking at the menu, and I'm like, I don't fuck with any of this stuff, because there's just no like. There's a lot of restaurants that are legit restaurants that a lot of people go and eat at, and you and I look at the menu, and we're just like, oh, there's like nothing here that's on the normal shit I would get.
Yeah, that's to my point. I think people are more creatures of habits, where they're just like, once in a while, if they're going on a nice date, they'll look up a fancy restaurant or some shit. But like, if I'm taking Molly out to dinner or something, I'm going to some Italian spot that I know is good. You know, like that's why all these places have regulars, because it's just like they come in, they get their chicken parm and bounce.
I hear you, but my point is there are restaurants that aren't even fancy restaurants that you and I would sit down at and look at the menu and be like, I don't really eat any of the stuff on the menu. Like, there are restaurants that are just like one step above like a nice Italian restaurant or like a nice pizzeria, that are like the prices are still reasonable as fuck. It's a busy restaurant, but you and I look at the menu and we're like, I don't, like, what is this?
Yeah, that's why I would just be like, let's go to, you know, Amore or something and get like a chicken roll where we know it's going to be big.
But we're like terribly uncultured and we eat like we're 12.
I think more people are like us, where it's just like they go to their Applebee's or like their regular ass shit.
That's true. I mean, I eat like the common man for sure. I certainly don't have like an elitist palate.
No, fuck no. No. And if you do, you're an asshole. Like,
well, but the problem is you and I are gonna die from fucking heart attacks.
I don't want to try weird shit. Like I want to. Like, when I go to DR or something, I'll have, like, chicken, I'll have the rice. But once you start venturing out, like, my brother's got a crazy good stomach, but we went, like on some trail, and we're driving through the mountains, and we stopped at some little deli. They had, like, this ham shit hanging on the wall.
Probably been there for a minute.
Been there for a minute, and, like, there was so many flies around that shit. And my brother was like, yeah, we'll have that. Like, just slice off some pieces, put cheese on it, and on a roll, like, telling the dude in Spanish. And then handed me one, and I was like, "Oh, we just eat this."
Oh shit!
So yeah, it's good. Crazy diarrhea for the whole rest of the day.
Of course, because there's fucking flies and shit.
That's like, I rather have just gotten like a bag of Cheetos or something like that.
Oh hell yeah, that would have been a much better move. To eat fucking meat that was like obviously bad.
Yeah. That's what happens. Like even if I go to a restaurant or something like that, like my body won't be used to ordering. Like if someone's like, "Hey, try the oxtail or some shit," it's like, no, I've never had that in my life. So if I have it right now, something's gonna fuck up in my system. Like my body's gonna halt because it's never had this shit before.
Yeah. I
don't know.
I had some Cheetos the other day for the first time in a long time.
The puffy kinds or the crunchy
the
kinds?
Puffy kinds.
Oh, puffy kinds are so good.
Yeah, I like them too, but it was it wasn't the Cheeto brand. It was Utz. It was some Utz shit.
You've been fucking with that brand a lot.
No, because I had gotten like this mixed bag, and it had like all from Utz. It was all like Utz sour cream and onion, Utz barbecue, Utz Cheetos. So that's why you've heard me eating Utz. It was like a mixed thing that I got.
Cheetos are a little bit like cotton candy to me. They're like really
the consistency.
Good. Yeah, but they're not fulfilling.
No, I was never. Cheetos was never. It didn't even crack my top like 10 of chips. Like I never craved. I would rather have some fucking cheddar Goldfish than Cheetos. Like that's the level that Cheetos are at in my mind.
Goldfish was the shit back in the day.
Goldfish. I used to eat so many Goldfish. But the next day when I took a shit, the toilet bowl was red as a motherfucker, and I was like, I might be dying. I might be
It was
dying.
all the Cheetos clearing through or something?
Exactly. Then, like an hour and a half later, I was thinking, and I was like, oh, no, I just ate like a bunch of Cheetos. That's definitely the food coloring from the Cheetos. But I was shook a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, so I might be dying. That might be happening right now.
That's not a good sign if you're shitting out red stuff.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no, there's a lot of it, too.
Cheetos was a good one, but when you used to the Goldfish that would come in that big ass box.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It would come in the bag one with like the silver lining on it, but then it would come in like the box.
The box. Mm-hmm.
I think you had the box like in that left cabinet in your house.
That was a staple in my house, man.
Yeah.
The Goldfish were just always Goldfish in my house.
Goldfish, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite Goldfish flavor? I'm going cheddar. Cheddar's got to be mine, and then followed by the white Parmesan shit.
Nah, I don't even start venturing out on Goldfish, to be honest.
What? So you never fuck with the pizza Goldfish? You never fuck with...
Only one I would fuck with is they had a pretzel Goldfish.
You like the pretzel one. See, I would go number 1, cheddar. Number 2, the white Parmesan. Number 3, the pretzel... No, pizza. Number 4, the pretzel. Number 5, whatever the fuck else there is. Which I know there's one I'm missing. I'm missing one. But cheddar was my favorite. I could fucking house some cheddar Goldfish on.
Oh, cheddar was so good.
Yeah.
Pringles is another story. Sour cream and onions got to be number 1.
Well, Leon swears up and down that for Pringles that the plain Pringles taste a little bit like McDonald's fries, and he's not wrong. There's a little hint of it in there. There's a little hint of it if you go get some regular Pringles. But I'll tell you what, when I get chips, Pringles are not even at. They don't really cross my mind as like, oh, I'll get some Pringles. I go for more. Like Ruffles, I like Ruffles chips.
Yeah, Ruffles are good. The wavy kind are all right.
I like the Ridges, man. I like Ridges.
Yeah, like shit. Ridges wavy. Isn't that the same type of shit?
No. Wavy's the other, right? Wavy's the non-ridged.
With like the lines in it. Like
the lines in it is Ridges. That's Ridges.
And which one do you like?
The Ridges.
Yeah, I like those ones too.
Yeah. I think the wavy is the other one that has no ridges. So you were trying to call Ridges wavy.
No, I think wavy is Ridges too.
What?
Yeah. Look up wavy Lays, and I think there's ridges on it.
Okay, let's see.
I think wavy is more the term than ridges. The only thing about these...
Nah, you're right. The wavies are the bigger ridges. So there's ridges and then there's wavy. Wavy is just bigger ridges. Like longer ridges. I see it. I'm looking at it right now. But I like any kind of ridges on my shit. I feel like you get more more of a chip when you have the ridges. Yeah,
there's more like texture to it.
Right,
it just,
exactly.
Feels better.
Yeah.
The regular Lays used to be the last shit to go in the like the 32 box.
Which Lays?
Just the regular like yellow bag.
That's sort of fucked up because those are pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, but if you have a choice of, they used to have like sour cream and onion, barbecue. They had the blue Doritos in there.
Well,
sometimes would have the white cheddar popcorn.
My number 1 chip is cheddar and sour cream.
Oh, that's the orange bag, right?
And that's like number 1. It's sort of like the Tiger Woods of chips in my mind. Like you got like number 2, Phil Mickelson is like way below. Like not even fucking like you got to win way more to get anywhere close to him. You're not even touching the sour cream, cheddar and sour cream.
It is good, but it's such a weird combo. Like you wouldn't think that those two go together.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna say something controversial here. Salt and vinegar is pretty good too.
Oh, salt and vinegar, bang him.
Yeah, and that's I like when the fuck else ever in your life have you wanted vinegar anything? Never. I've never been like, oh, this could use some fucking vinegar on it. Never. I never fucking think about eating vinegar. But when you have salt and vinegar, you're like, oh shit, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You know what it's like? It's like the movie Snakes on a Plane, where you're about to watch it and you're like, this shit is going to be the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. And then at the end of it, you're like, better than I thought.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that whole shit.
Well, that's going to be your reaction. You go into it going, this shit is going to be the dumbest fucking... It's called Snakes on a fucking Plane.
Yeah, I know.
And then you watch it and you're like, it's better than I thought. I haven't spoken to anybody who didn't say those exact words when you mentioned Snakes on a Plane. Everybody says, it's better than I thought. Like, I was expecting it to be the worst movie ever, and it was all right.
It usually happens with those like bad movies. They have like a cult following. Like someone was saying that movie Rampage, or not? Was it Rampage?
Rambo?
The one with The Rock, that he is like an amputee.
Oh, I never saw that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I heard it was so bad that they watched the whole movie but still remembered like every scene just because it was so bad.
Boondock Saints is like the #1 movie with the cult following that I remember. It's like a terrible movie, and
Didn't they beat people up or kill people or something?
Something like that. I think on Rotten Tomatoes it had like a fucking 10 rating or something insanely low. But it has a cult following. Mm-hmm. There's some movies that have a cult following that I agree because I'm part of that cult following.
Yeah. I'll watch The Proposal every time it's on TBS.
You're bugging.
Dude, it's such a good movie. Have you seen it?
I actually think I have. I'm not sure,
you had to have.
But I like Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. I'm part of that cult for that movie. Basketball. I'm part of the cult of that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Tom Green's movie, because I just like Tom Green. I think he's hilarious.
Tom Green came out with a movie?
Tom Green. Oh yeah, the what the fuck's it called? Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh.
That shit. And by the way, it.
Oh yeah.
What? See, this is what I'm talking about. Boondock Saints was a movie that was fucking terrible. 91% audience score. What? But it has had 23% of critics. This is one of those rare movies where I agree with the critics and I don't agree with the audience. Usually it's the opposite for me. Usually I think the audience is more right than the critics.
So the critics gave it a 26.
23, the critics gave it.
Oh, you didn't think it was a good movie?
No, I hated it. I thought it was terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I've heard of Boondock Saints.
Wait, am I thinking of the right movie?
What
no,
about
yeah,
Geely?
I am thinking of the right movie.
Following. That was the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez one. Remember Geely?
That shit got shitted on like nobody's business.
Then they also come out with movies with like all-star cast, and they're trash. Like they try to come out with that old like Hangover movie with like Morgan Freeman and was like Robert De Niro.
Oh yeah, well those are like the old like we're phoning it in type
That's
movies.
That's just a money grab.
Yeah, and there were a few movies with De Niro and Pacino that were just kind of like busts, even though they were supposed to be amazing because they have De Niro and Pacino in it.
Yeah, I think they tried to do a boxing movie with De Niro. Was it De Niro and Pacino? Who were the two?
I think they were. At least one of them was in it, but Joey Diaz was in that movie.
The boxing movie that they tried to remake?
He was in one of the boxing movies with either De Niro or Pacino.
There was one where they were like both in it because some famous. I know De Niro played like in the Raging Bull. Then there was someone else who was a famous actor that played a famous boxer that like they try to fight them together, and they were both like 70 years old in the movie, and I was just
Is this with Mark Wahlberg or no? You're talking about a movie?
No, this wasn't with Mark Wahlberg.
There's a movie with Mark Wahlberg where he's a boxer, and that shit was pretty trash
that
too.
I know. I think I saw that one. That one wasn't that bad.
It was trash. It was straight trash.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I watched. I was like expecting it to be good, and I was watching it, and I was like, "This is terrible." By the way, Geely, it's you want to take a guess?
One.
Almost. The critics gave it a 6%, and the audience gave it a 12%.
Jeez,
that's really low. That's like this is a fun game trying to guess like what movies are on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. All right, so what do you think Basketball is on Rotten Tomatoes?
I would say the critics probably gave it like a.
I didn't click on it yet. I pulled it
48?
up, but I didn't click on it yet, so I'm going to guess too. You said 48 for what? Critics?
The critics,
okay.
And the fans gave it an 87.
I'm going to write this down. 48 critics, 87 fans. All right, my guess is critics, I'm going to go 40. 40 critics. Fans, I'm going to go 73.
I think it's going to be higher than 73.
All right, let's see. Damn, this is a fun game. I like this shit. All right, let's see. Basketball, 1998. Oh, we're close, son.
Well, we had.
So we got critics gave it a 42.
What did I say? 47.
You said 48. I said 40. So right in between us. We're good.
You would have won on Price is Right.
Audience, 74. And I said 73. You said 87. Damn.
Wow.
We're good at this? All right, let's do another one. Imagine the podcast just becomes this every week. We just play this game the entire time.
Like, What's another? Do Twister.
Twister. I remember that was. Okay, here's why that movie's special to me. Because I think it was. Okay, my family growing up, like. Mm-hmm. We didn't do a lot of shit together. Like, there were times where it was like me and my dad would do something, or my sister and my dad would do something, or me and my mom would do something. but it was rare that all of us would do something. There were like maybe 3 or 4 like family vacations that we went on in my entire life, where we would go to like Disney World or Disneyland or some shit when I was a kid. But like most of the time, we didn't do much as a family together. But one of the very few, one of like maybe 2 or 3 movies in my life that my entire family went to together was Twister.
Yeah.
In like 1996, I think it came out in the theaters.
Twister was a shit. They also had at Universal Studios, they used to have a Twister ride. And it like, you would you would walk through this thing. They'd give you a little, like, he'd come on the monitor in the corner and he'd be like, hey guys, was it Dennis Quaid? He passed away, the dude. Oh, John Paxton.
John Paxton. He passed away?
Yeah, he passed away.
What? When?
Maybe like 3 years ago or 2 years ago or something like that. And the blonde lady,
John Paxson, his name is. Oh no, that's not him.
John Paxson used to play for the Bulls. His name is like what's the guy's name? It's something like that. Look up Twister cast.
Oh, you're right, John Paxton.
Oh, Paxton and Jodie Foster was the girl, right?
Wait, is this him? No, I think we got the wrong guy again. Let me see.
No, that's him. I think that's him.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see.
And Jodie Foster?
Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton. That's
okay.
Yeah, he
John
died.
Paxton's
Holy shit! But he's young.
Yeah, I think he was young when he passed away. He was probably chasing the Twister or some shit. And I think the machine that they used for the big one was like the Dorothy, like whatever, 5000 or something. But anyway, they had the ride.
I think I went on that ride.
You had to if it was a staple there. It might even still be there. And the ride, you'd wait like 4 hours to go on that shit, and literally he stands in the corner and he's like tells you about Twisters in like his deep ass voice. Then you walk into like the set and you stand behind a rail. Some people go up to the second level, and then like it starts raining, like a truck comes towards you, blows up, and then like it's like, all right, thanks for taking the Twister ride, we'll see you later. And I was just like, that was the fucking worst ride ever.
I'll tell you what, the Jaws ride was the shit. That was a fucking
cool.
A+ ride. That Jaws ride is. Okay, so let's guess. Twister. I'm gonna go critics 88, audience 92.
Ooh, I'll say critics gave it 76, and the fans gave it an 84.
Okay. Let's see.
I already forgot the numbers.
I got them written down. I was writing them down as you were saying it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, shit. We are both way off. Way off.
Worse? We had to be worse.
The critics 57.
Wow.
And then the audience 58. The audience wasn't even too hot on this shit. Damn, we were way off, dude.
You know it has to be good if you get a ride at Universal Studios.
Yeah, I mean, it's Twister. It's like a fucking classic. What do you mean?
Yeah.
These numbers are a little depressing.
Yeah, Twister was the shit.
No, it's funny because one of my favorite movies of all time, I looked up the ranking on Rotten Tomatoes, and it got like either like a 65 or a 71 or something, and I was like, fuck you.
Yeah. Can you look up what the number 1 rated movie of all time is on Rotten Tomatoes?
I think
I heard recently.
It's one of the classics, like The Godfather or something like that. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it was Godfather, maybe.
Top ranked movies of all time on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. Okay, we got... Let's see. Citizen Kane has 100%. Let's see.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even never saw that shit.
It's like an old school. All right, so
really?
Some movies we never heard of.
The B movie.
This is weird. They have the list, like they have the number 1 thing on the list doesn't have a 100% rating. I'll just read you a bunch of these. So there's a list that they have. Black Panther's ranked 97%. The Wizard of Oz 98%. Lady Bird 99%. Citizen Kane 100%. Get Out, which was a good movie, 98%.
Get Out was good.
Black Klansman 95%. Mad Max Fury Road 97%. The Third Man 99%. Moonlight, that was a good movie, 98%.
Which one was Moonlight? Was that with Sandra Bullock?
No, the gay black dudes, I think. I think that's Moonlight.
I think
that's it. That was a good movie. I saw that movie. It was pretty good.
You saw that in theaters?
No, I didn't see it in
on
theaters.
pay-per-view now?
No, I saw it outside of theaters. I saw it on like fucking, I don't know if it was Netflix, and it wasn't Netflix.
Oh,
it was something on demand, something like that. Casablanca's 97%.
I would fall asleep through that shit.
Godfather 98%.
I had never seen The Godfather.
You're sort of bugging on that.
I know. And
Gravity got 96%. I'm surprised by that.
That's the joint with Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that.
She just like gets trapped in outer space, right?
Something like that. Yep. 12 Years a Slave 95%.
Those shits are all whack. They sound like
Alien 97%. That's old school classic. I'm looking for the old school classics to give you the rankings. But there's this long list they have where they rank like a bunch of basically all these have over 95%.
Damn.
There's a bunch. The Wrestler, that was a good movie. 98%.
That was good. What about You've Got Mail?
So let's guess. Let's add that to the list. Okay, You've Got Mail. Rotten Tomatoes. Play along with us, guys, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so You've Got Mail. I don't remember if I ever seen it. I'm going to guess they ranked it pretty good. I'm going to go...
You never saw You Got Mail? That's a classic.
I may or may not have. I really don't remember. I'm going to go critics...
Critics probably like that shit.
Critics...
Tom Hanks, so he gets a couple bonus points.
75, audience 85.
Nah, I'm going to flip those numbers. I'm going to go critics went higher than the audience.
So you're going critics what?
81.
81.
And fans gave it a 74.
74. Okay, here we go. Came out in 1998. Tom Hanks is good. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And we're a little off. So,
you know, Tom Hanks' son is like a rapper, like,
yeah,
and he's just like a crazy, thinks he's a badass.
Crazy motherfucker, dude. That's what happens when your dad is world famous and you have too much money.
How can you even pretend to have any street cred? Like Tommy Hilfiger's son.
Yeah.
You ever see him?
Isn't he like the same as
Dude, just type in, if you have your computer, type in Tommy Hilfiger's son. It's like tattoos, I think, almost on his face, and like
he's rebelling. It's just like a whole
like how can you even like fake go any, like if he even shows face in the hood or something like that.
Yeah.
You'll never get street cred from me. Like even if you do
that, like his whole
whatever you need to do to get street cred.
His whole existence is trying to counter this exact thing that you feel about him. I feel it too. I'd be like, you're Tommy Hilfiger's son. What are you doing?
But it's like he's trying to get to the NBA by being something he just physically can't be.
It's like, what's his
like
face?
It's almost like he's handicapped.
Jaden Smith, is that his name? Jaden? Is it Jaden?
Yeah, I think so.
Will Smith's son? Like he kind of gives me those vibes too. Like, yo.
Yeah, but his is more like artsy, like weird style.
Well, he's trying hard to be like, he's trying hard to get out of this shadow that his dad cast, because his dad is such a fucking legendary actor.
Yeah.
But like in the process of trying to get out of this shadow that his dad cast, he has no way of making himself, be viewed as his own person who's kind of amazing in his own respect. So he just becomes super weird to try to like get out of that role as like you're Will Smith's son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
don't have any sympathy for those kids. No, I don't have any sympathy for them, because I would still prefer my father to be some very successful dude, because they're getting a stage to do whatever they want, like, whereas some people don't even have that opportunity.
Their problem is that they want that sort of love and adoration from the public that their parents have, but they have no way of getting it. That's their problem.
Yeah, but they have a better shot at getting it than me, or you, like,
Well, what I was going to say is you wouldn't. I think you'd be fine if you had a rich-ass father, because you have your own interests anyway, that you don't care about whether or not a group of fucking people, if the public acknowledges you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got shit you like to do that you would do whether or not your dad was massively rich, and if your dad was massively rich and famous, you just know you wouldn't have to fucking work, but you could still do all those things you want to do, like play basketball, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. So
that'd be nice.
That's the thing, but they don't. It looks to me like those guys, like fucking Tom Hanks' son, and like Jaden Smith, if I'm getting his name right, which I still don't know if I am, like he has no other things, and it's just like, I don't want to be known as my dad's son. I want to be my own person. And so now I'm going to fucking act really weird to try to make everybody see, like, no, I'm special, bro. Have you ever read that kid's Twitter feed? It's hilarious. He says things that make absolutely no sense.
Jaden Smith?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, he probably just says he's like a on that Kanye level where it's just saying shit that you're like,
no,
what?
honestly, Kanye even makes more sense than him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, when you party, I'm on the treadmill. When you sleep, I'm on the treadmill. When I tweet, I'm on the treadmill. Remember this. He says,
Maybe he's on the treadmill a lot.
most trees are blue, he tweeted. Who has the floss? These are all his tweets. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? What the fuck does this mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You can discover everything you need to know about everything by looking at your hands. Inside the vacuum.
That could be true. That's like on some like a psychic. They always read your hands when like they tell you like this is your money trail. This is your.
I like this one. Your 140 characters can't contain me. Because Twitter only allows 140 characters.
But it does contain you.
Yeah, literally. Inside the vacuum, a motor turns a fan, which forces air forward, decreasing the air pressure behind the fan. He's just talking about an engine there. I just scrolled through my tweets and I started laughing.
Wait, you thought the engine one was normal? You pawned that one off like it was like, oh, he must just be talking about an engine. There's no way he's talking about an engine. He's like talking about like God knows what, like a bird he saw or some shit.
The Great Gatsby.
You read the most obscure one and pawned that shit off like, oh, that one he's just talking about an engine.
Here's my new favorite. Real talk. Sometimes I am scared by all my wisdom. Jaden out. Come on, son.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. School is the tool to brainwash the youth. That one's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. The more time you spend awake, the more time you spend asleep.
The more time you spend awake.
I hope it doesn't take for me to die for you to see what I do for you.
That's sort of true.
All I want for Christmas is the truth. Can Drake be my new dad? Can Dad be my new Drake? Nevermore. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's some weird shit. But his dad is still Will Smith, so like he can fucking do whatever he wants.
If newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth.
That's true.
Fuck no, it's not true.
Kidding.
Okay, wait. So we got to go back to You've Got Mail. I didn't even tell everybody.
Oh yeah, let's hear.
68% from the critics, 73% from the audience.
Oh wow.
So we were kind of off. I said critics 75, audience 85. You said critics 81, audience 74.
Yeah, I thought the critics were going to be higher on that one.
Damn.
That movie, it's so crazy. Just the different times like the switch that happened. That was like 98, right?
98, yeah.
Like they were still. Well, that must have been like right when email was coming out because that's what that whole movie was about.
You've Got Mail.
Yeah.
They
were like signing onto AOL.
Sounds of the 90s.
Oh my gosh.
The dial-up connection.
I was just talking about because I was just in Orlando and I stopped by an old hotel we used to go to, the Orlando World Center, and we used to get rates in that spot because my dad would show a piece of paper that showed that he worked for Marriott, like bartending, so we'd get rooms for like super cheap. But then like one year they switched over to computer systems and he tried using the papers and they laughed at him. Like before computers came around, you could probably get away with a lot more shit.
Dude, it's crazy. Like if you listen to Joey Diaz's podcast, he'll talk about this because he was a criminal most of his life and he's open about that and he talks about that. And like the type of shit that people would do and get away with, like
look at the Brad Pitt when he was the pilot and he was just forging checks.
Exactly. Like they could do, like it was so easy to do like check fraud and it was so easy to steal credit cards and just get away with it. Like there was just a lot of shit you can get away with that you can't get away with now. Like there's this thing I just watched on Netflix, Abducted in Plain Sight. I saw that. That was one of the, like a crime thing that was interesting. But then there was another one about Ted Bundy and like
oh, Molly asked me if I wanted to watch that, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Nah, you should watch it. It's good.
So he was a good-looking dude, right? And he would just kill people. Or
yeah, he was a good-looking dude, and he was a psychopath, and he would just kill. He killed like 30 people or more.
Jesus Christ, that's it. Zac Efron plays him.
Zac Efron played no, but that's not the thing that just came out on Netflix. The thing that just came out on Netflix is like a documentary about him where his tapes were released. There were some reporters who like recorded him and talked to him when he was trying to come clean about his crimes before he was put to death type shit. It's really interesting. But one of the things that he did is he like escaped from prison a couple times, which is crazy already. But then like he like traveled to Florida, and then when he's in Florida, he just jacked somebody's identity. And they said that their driver's licenses back then in Florida in like the 1970s didn't even have pictures on them.
Jesus.
So the dude jacked somebody's identity, wrote down on the license that his name was this random-ass person who wasn't him, and since it didn't have a picture, like, he was getting away with all this shit for the longest time. It was just so easy to get away with shit back then.
Yeah, of course, because there was no fucking computer tracking system. Like, people just took your word, I guess.
And then the thing is, he commits the kind of crimes that are almost perfect to get away with, because there's no way to get leads, because he would just drive up to a random woman on the street who he finds attractive and pretend to be a cop, and then he would like hit him over the head.
Is that the type of shit he did?
Well,
so he just like got off, like he was just insane, where like killing people was his thing.
Well, what you come to find out in the documentary is that he admits to being into necrophilia. So the only way he gets like off, the only way he nuts, is to dead bodies. So
That's fucking crazy.
He would literally like kill these poor women.
Oh my god!
And then like fuck their dead bodies.
Oh my god!
It's crazy. Like the fact that kind of shit exists. Wait till you see the other shit. You got to see Abducted in Plain Sight on Netflix. Go watch that now.
I don't like watching that shit, man.
Because Abducted in Plain Sight, it's about you will pull your fucking hair out as you watch this, because it's about a dude who, I don't remember the years, like maybe 1950s or some shit like that, 1960s, maybe 70s, the latest, where like two families living next to each other. This one family's got like fucking kids, okay, and like young kids, maybe fucking 9 years old or whatever, and this neighbor starts hanging out with the family and earns the trust of the parents, and then he's doing all of this just to get access to this young 9-year-old girl, because he's a pedophile and he wants access to this 9-year-old girl.
Oh my god!
And so he gains the trust of the parents. They trust him so much that they all go on like fucking camping vacations and shit. And like the 9-year-old girl's like sleeping under a fucking sleeping bag, and she wakes up in the middle of the night and her fucking underwear's down by her knees, and he's doing fucked up shit. Dude, this shit is crazy.
And this was real.
This was
story?
real. This was real. You got to watch Abducted in Plain Sight. Is called.
Was it some shit that happened like dumb long ago?
This was like 1960s maybe.
Oh wow.
That this was going on, but like the story is crazy because of how fucking gullible these families are, son. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, if he's your neighbor, was he not the neighbor?
Nah, you're talking. Okay, so it got.
I trust my neighbors.
You do not trust your neighbors. Like I'm about to explain to you how this family trusted this guy. This dude was a smooth talking motherfucker who like got the family to totally disarm and treated him like family, and he took advantage of that shit so he could fucking sexually abuse this poor little girl. And it got to the point where he sat them down and convinced them that because of trauma that he had in his past, he went to a psychologist, and the psychologist said, I need to sleep with your daughter in her room 4 nights a week for 6 months.
He told that to them?
He told that to the family. He said, listen, I had trauma when I was younger, and I went to the psychologist, and the psychologist prescribed to me that I have to sleep with somebody young and innocent as part of my therapy.
And they okayed that
And they
shit?
fucking okayed it, son!
Something was off with them, too, then.
Okay, and we know some of the backstory there, too. So what else did this dude do? He was a fucking evil genius. He convinced... Now, don't get me wrong, this family's gullible as a motherfucker, too.
Yeah.
But he took each one of them, the mother and the father, and separately, he seduced both of them.
Jesus.
So he made the father, I guess he had a suspicion the father was gay or something, and I guess he was bisexual or whatever.
Well, he was everything if he's fucking
everything.
Little kids.
He was everything. So he convinced the dad to jerk him off, son. They were in like the church parking lot or some shit, and he was smooth talking him into it. He's like, my wife won't have sex with me, and it's tough, and I just need a release. And the dude was describing it. The dad who was in the fucking documentary, now he's an old dude, he was describing it, and he was like,
Wait, the dad was in the shit?
The dad was in the documentary, and he's like an old ass dude now, and he was like, so I reached over and I relieved him. I was like, oh dude, you jerk off the pedophile, man, what are you doing? And then he seduced the mom, and the mom like slept with him. He literally did something sexual with everybody in the family. He fucking raped the poor girl.
I hope they didn't have any animals or pets.
He brainwashed this girl when she was 11 years old to literally like only trust him. So he had this 11-year-old girl writing love letters to this fucking grown-ass man.
Some R. Kelly shit.
And he kidnapped her like 2 or 3 times, and they got the FBI involved, but then they fucked up because they didn't tell the FBI that, like, you know, they okayed for them to go on like a fucking sleeping trip in a tent in the wilderness or something, and he took her to Mexico to try to marry her because the age of consent down there back in the day was 12 years old. Crazy movie, or documentary, Abducted in Plain Sight. But
the dude is dead now?
Yeah, the dude's dead because obviously later on, you know, the story, what happened was the mom and the daughter sat down and they wrote a book about all this and explained their entire experience. And then they did like a tour. And like the dude was showing up to some of their speaking engagements. The dude who did all this shit was showing up to some of the speaking engagements. And then one time, like he kind of got caught and then he like committed suicide.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. I just spoiled the whole shit for everybody, but
I'm not going to watch. I don't watch shit like that. I just started watching the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or some shit like that.
Yeah, you
it's
watch
like
Ellen during the
shit.
days, so you're not going to be interested in the same kind of fucking
hell no
crackpot shit that I watch.
I used to tell you, as soon as I came home and I heard the canoe for the fucking Are You Afraid of the Dark shit.
Oh, that scared me too, though.
I would change that shit right away and just put on like some
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Shit.
I was never a big fan of that, man. It kind of scared me too.
I wonder I think if I put it back now, it would still be scary. Like they had like a empty canoe, like just fucking rolling on the water and shit.
Let's play it and see our reaction.
I don't even like. I just like happy shit. I want to see people happy. I don't want to see like some dude. My fucking lens is all filtered out.
Are You Afraid of the Dark theme?
Like entrance shit.
Intro. There you go. Here we go. Ready?
I just had this shit.
That's scary as fuck.
Oh yeah, now I know it. That sounded like a techno song.
That's creepy.
Let me see this shit. Are they showing it?
No, I'm not showing it. I'm just playing this audio.
Oh. Hell yeah. You come to school and you're in like middle school and that shit comes on?
Yeah, that's creepy, man.
Why would they have that on Nickelodeon?
I don't know. I think it's trying to be like some Twilight Zone shit for kids, but don't do that.
Yeah, they had that mixed in between like all that and shit.
Yeah, like it would be like Kenan and Kel and then that and then all that, and then you're like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, because you would either have to see the end of that shit. I think the endings were always good in that, though. They would always be like a happy ending.
But yeah, I was never a big fan of like scary stuff. I was never big on that.
Yeah. Are You Afraid of the Dark sucked, and then... Yeah, fuck that show.
What were you drinking? What were you holding up there?
Milo's Famous Sweet Tea.
Milo? What the fuck?
It's just so Michael. Like, I don't think it's local because they're from Alabama, but this shit I've seen a lot of places, but it's not that good. I just wanted like a cold ass drink in the supermarket.
It looks like you're drinking a bottle of Milo Yiannopoulos cum.
We did end of the world grocery shopping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you, because right now, I just saw before, it's 22 degrees where you're at right now.
Yeah, but, like, it's brick as fuck, like, because the wind chill brings that down.
Well, right now, I think it feels like 22, but it's going to feel like negative 50 tomorrow for you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like, I didn't know that was possible. I literally did not know that was possible until this
Same.
week.
I still, like, can't wrap my head around that shit. Like, they said it's going to be colder than Antarctica, Mount Everest, and, like, some other shit.
I honestly thought that the coldest it could really get was like maybe negative 25 at most.
Yeah.
The coldest
when you sent me that picture, like seeing negative 55 on a place where you are and not like if I saw that on a map and it was like, oh, this is on some uninhabitable place where like, you know, polar bears live because they need to be that cold and like some igloo dude or some shit, I'd be like, all right, that's cool. I'll never go there or nobody ever lives there. Like, this is a populated city. Like, this is fucking Illinois, like, where people live and do shit. And they're like, don't leave your house. Like, roads and everything are going to be good. Just don't leave your house because you'll die from being cold as a motherfucker.
Yeah, like, you can't. There's another movie that was on Netflix where they talk about how if you run when it's freezing outside, you actually can die because something with your lungs and how...
Really?
Something happens with your lungs where people die if they run and it's freezing outside. So imagine like exerting yourself at all in fucking negative 50 degrees. Like that literally is life threatening.
Yeah.
Like you just can't do it.
I'm worried about there's going to be dickheads and idiots that are trying to make like a viral video or something like that. They're going to try and jump into a pool or jump into like Lake Michigan or some shit.
You could die.
They're absolutely going to die. Like when it's 50 degrees, I'm like, that's cold. Like, I got to put a jacket on.
50, I don't mind. But like the coldest I've ever been in was maybe -5, like, or maybe about 0 or -5 the most. But I honestly didn't know you could get below like -25. I thought that's not possible. Like, you're just going to bottom out at like -25. Like, on Earth, the coldest you're going to get is like -25. That's what I thought.
Yeah, nah, fuck. Like, it's just, I still can't wrap my head around that shit. And it's wild. Like, I got an email from my job that was like, don't come in. My wife got an email, don't come in.
Really? They're literally
was just
telling
saying,
people,
like, if you don't have to leave your house, like, don't leave your house.
It's that bad, huh?
Hell yeah,
They're
man.
canceling. I didn't know they were canceling work.
Hell yeah.
Damn, that's scary, man.
You can't walk in that shit. Like, I walk from the train to my office, and it's like a good 15 to 20 minute walk. I'd die. I'd die on that walk.
That's
you can't do
crazy.
it, even with layers on layers on. Like, your face it burns. It's so
Somebody
damn cold.
said that on the news. They were talking about, and this isn't even before the deep freeze hit yet, but they were like, it's so cold that it burns. I was like, whoa. What does that even mean?
But
that's what they said.
Still, like, they're still gonna have weathermen on the streets and stuff like that, like showing how cold it is, which like you won't even you can't tell from.
So at what point is it dangerous to human beings to be out there? Like at what point? Like what's the temperature where it's like you can't really be out there anymore?
Oh, definitely that shit.
I'm saying that's past the line, but what's the line? Let's see. How cold is too cold for humans? Death by cold is harder to delimit. A person usually expires when their body temperature drops to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But how long this takes to happen depends on how used to the cold a person is and whether a mysterious latent form of hibernation sets in, which has been known to happen.
I had a boy we knew a kid, you know him. He got hypothermia when we were playing football one time. I spoke about this before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he just went to the side and was like passed out. And then we just picked him up. And I've said it before, we put him in like a hot ass bath, which was the worst move to do.
How cold was it outside when that happened?
I don't even think it was like that cold. It was just like a snowy, cold day, you know? And like he would always get injured or always get sick or something. He was like prone to that shit. And he was a very little kid. And then like luckily we left because his parents came home, and then we found out later that he died.
He died?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, what the fuck?
I just wanted to see your reaction.
I was like, holy shit, that took a really dark turn.
He died in my arms. No, he was good.
I'm trying to find an exact number that we could give people here because I'm really curious about this now. Like, I feel like maybe that line is about like -10, where it's like you just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, -10 is probably pretty cold too, but I don't think I've been in that shit before.
It says, okay, that's interesting. One thing says -90. What?
Jeez. I still can't believe it's gonna be -55, dude. Like, this is the start of the day after tomorrow. Like, that's how the movie started. Everything started freezing over.
The first thing I thought of when I looked at that graphic was when you told me, like, no, there really is gonna be some day after tomorrow shit. And I was like, no, there's not. And then when I sent you that picture, I was like, he's definitely going to say that. I told you so.
That's how the movie started, was like shit started freezing and like people were like, nah, that's not bad. And like nobody could go outside. It was like all of New York City was like frozen. Like the buildings were all icy and shit like that.
Okay, so they're saying...
It's the fucking beginning of the fucking end of the world.
They're saying here that the record
mm-hmm.
for ever recorded low on Earth, it was in Russia, and it plunged to -90 degrees Fahrenheit. And,
Jesus.
And that was in 1892 in Siberia. and they said that's by far the...
Wait, Siberia or Russia?
Siberia is in Russia? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that
shit. That's by far the coldest. Yeah, because nobody goes to Siberia. Nobody thinks about it. Because nobody ever
Siberia
goes
was like some Egypt shit that was like a desert or something.
No, it's the opposite. It's like a frozen tundra.
Oh, yeah, Moscow or Russia gets cold as fuck. Moscow gets cold as fuck.
Yeah.
I remember my dad went there wintertime one time, and he was like, it was cold as fuck.
It does get cold there, but Siberia is on another level. And then apparently schools shut down there at negative 61 degrees.
They closed schools for negative 61 degrees?
Yeah, so school would still be open in Siberia with the negative 50 that you're about to experience.
Negative 60, they were like, yeah, maybe you guys could stay home.
Oh, wait, I'm lying. Now the next thing says in Antarctica it hit negative 97 degrees.
Jesus.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
But Chicago shouldn't be colder than Antarctica tomorrow. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Like, that's not fair for Antarctica. Antarctica should always be the coldest shit.
That's true, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it should be. Like, in the name, it sounds like it's fucking...
It's just the fucking cold iceberg. But do people travel to Antarctica?
No, not
so,
really.
Right?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything developed there. I mean, I could be wrong, but...
And Antarctica is north, right? That's by the North Pole? Or is it south, all the way to the bottom?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's look that up.
Does anybody live on Antarctica?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe there's a few people.
It's like one guy.
I like how we're just babbling like idiots now. I don't know, bro. No, the Antarctica is in the south.
Okay, yeah, I knew that.
It's the southern tip.
That's weird. I feel like the southern would be warmer.
No, the poles are always going to be cold. It's interesting how it works. Like obviously the equator is the hottest, and just the further away you get from the equator in either direction, the colder it gets. Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean,
yeah.
But it's what I always was fascinated by. I think we probably spoke about this on the podcast. Is the sun rising and setting, because when you're at the equator, you get almost exactly the same amount of night light and dark in any day throughout the year. But the further away you get from the equator, the more you have like variation in that. So now, the earliest the sun sets where I am in New York is like 4:30. The sun will set at 4:30 p.m. sometimes. But then in the summer, like the longest day, maybe the sun sets at like 9:30, 9 or 9:30, something like that.
At night?
At night, yeah.
Oh yeah, when those late night
So
shit.
there's like a variation. But there are some places where they always, like, the sun will always set at like 7:15 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like towards the equator. I always thought that was interesting. And then like when you go to all the way up to Alaska, for example, they have seasons where like all season it'll be dark all winter, and then like all summer it's bright, it's light out, which is crazy. That fucks up your whole inner clock because you have no like, you have to like force your body to get into a rhythm by like closing the blinds and making it pitch black at a certain point in time because it's always going to be light outside.
Yeah, I'm sure
crazy?
they have certain methods that they adjust to that shit or something. Their body gets used to it at certain.
Humans adapt like fucking nothing else. I mean, that's what we're all about, is adapting to stuff. But
yeah,
I always found that shit fucking interesting. The thing about the light changing and everything.
Yeah.
All I know is I would never ever want to go north of where I am. Like New York is generally considered like we have, like mild falls, mild or nice springs, and then hot summers and cold winters. We get the full change of seasons. But I would never want to go north of where I am.
Yeah, I've been to Montreal when it's cold as hell, and that shit is fucking cold. And then there's a spot even like above Montreal in Canada, like the tip of Canada, that's just cold as fuck. Everything
in Canada is cold. I mean, I guess the warmest you get from Canada is either Montreal or Toronto maybe is the warmest.
Yeah.
But even that's cold. It's... But I guess they look at us like somebody in Canada would look at New York's weather and be like, you don't know cold,
I know. Like this negative 55, as unbearable as it is, you could still bear that shit by putting on like a bajillion layers and covering your face. Imagine if it was 155 degrees.
I mean, you're cooking. You would cook.
You couldn't. You couldn't like that shit.
No, but I'm saying
I don't think you could leave your house or do anything.
But what's the line? Like, even bundling up, how long until you need to go inside in negative 55? I would imagine you don't have that long of a window. You can't be outside that long in negative 55, even if you're perfectly bundled up.
Yeah, I mean, they say you're in danger between 2 to 5 minutes, but I don't know how many layers they're like calculating.
No, but I don't even think at that point, when it's that cold, I don't even think it's based on the layers, dude. I think it's based on like your lungs, because you're breathing in absolutely frigid air.
You think so?
I do.
Like if I just like OD'd and like I had layers out to here, you don't think I'd be warm in that shit?
I think that because of how, like, because I've been in cold enough weather where when you breathe in, it's like sharp.
Yeah, I mean, I've stood in like an ice cream freezer that's like negative 32 or maybe more.
And
or
you
no,
breathe in and
ice
it's a
cream freezer's
sharp.
only been like negative 18, I want to say, or something like that.
Yes, but you breathe in and it's sharp, and you know you can't. Something not healthy's happening there when you're breathing in that frigid air in your lungs. So I think it's more about you. Like, I think there's a problem with being outside for that, even if you're perfectly bundled up.
Yeah, that's a good point. But the ice cream freezer wasn't even ever that cold.
How long can a human survive in negative 50 degrees? Let's see.
There's probably gonna be mad articles right now.
No, there's probably none.
Oh. I feel bad for, like, do the mailman still have to do his shit tomorrow?
Probably not. I mean, you can't have people dying and shit. You just can't. Imagine.
I feel like you can't even fly a plane over that shit because it would just freeze it.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Like, your engines would shut off in negative
like, what
55.
happens with the end? There was one time, I remember one day in the summer when it was, like, in Phoenix, it was, like, 120 degrees or something crazy, and they were, like, they canceled flights because it was too hot. The planes wouldn't work. It was too hot. It was it was dangerous for the planes for whatever reason.
I still think I would prefer negative 55 over like some 155 shit.
Neither. You can't have either.
I mean, they both suck.
Yeah, you can't because okay, in those situations, if whatever your climate controlled shit is, if that shit breaks down, you're dead. Like if your heater breaks down in that, you're dead. If your AC breaks down in that, you're dead. You can't get around that. Like, you're dead in those situations. You need to be in a climate-controlled...
Pipes will freeze.
Yeah.
Pipes are going to freeze. Like water that goes... Like, it's going to freeze shit.
Yeah,
that's too cold.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys probably are not able to take hot showers tomorrow because of that. Like, you can't... The water... There's probably a problem with the pipes for sure.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. That's how I start tonight.
When you try to do it and it doesn't work and the pipe bursts.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy. By the way, how many idiots out there are like, oh, what happened to global warming now?
Yeah.
Trump was tweeting that. What a dumbass.
Was he saying shit about the cold?
Yeah, he was like, what happened to global warming? We could use some of that now. It's supposed to be the coldest temperatures ever tomorrow.
Gosh.
For people who don't know, I'll break it down very simple. First of all, there's a difference between weather and climate. Weather is what happens on any given day. Climate is what happens over an extended period of time. It's you take all these different weather events and you put them together to look at the pattern, okay? So there's weather and there's climate. Weather doesn't tell you anything, really. Climate tells you something. But beyond that, what's supposed to happen with climate change is the trends over an extended period of time are towards warming. The increased greenhouse gas effect increases temperatures. So the graph goes like this. There's a steady increase in temperatures, and that's exactly what we're seeing, by the way. Over time, the climate is steadily warming. But at the same time that's happening, there's also an increase in extreme weather events on both sides of the spectrum. So you'll see an increase in like hurricanes and droughts and famine and shit like that. And
which is what happened.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, you see like random fucking insanely powerful blizzards and like you see this backlash effect at the same time. So it actually fits in perfectly with climate change because the general rule is more extreme weather events happen and the long-term trends are towards warming, but you do see an increase in extremes on both ends of the spectrum. So this is like, you know, people who use this as evidence of like, oh, obviously climate change isn't real. They haven't read about this. They just don't know like what the fuck they're talking about. And it's been annoying, like, because I tweeted about the negative 55 degree thing and I was like, how's this even possible? And people, there were some idiots, some like right-wing idiots who were like, "Oh, what happened to climate change?" And it's like, "Oh my God, you're so dumb! Like you're so dumb."
Oh,
I know it's sad.
I can't.
It's really
I still,
sad.
Yeah, that's sad. But the fact that it's gonna be that cold is like, I still can't fucking.
It's negative 22 there now. Right now, as me and you were talking, outside those windows behind you, it's negative 22 degrees.
Is that? I just ran into the supermarket, and I took my gloves off for a second, and that shit was cold as fuck.
Negative 22, son. Negative 22. So you don't go to work tomorrow at all?
No, I'm not fucking leaving. I'll try and walk outside just to see what that shit is like.
What do you keep your heater at? What's the temperature you usually keep it at?
Normally I think it's between like 72 and 75. We might have to crank that Soldier Boy up to like 80, 82 or some shit.
That's crazy. You know what I keep mine at?
What?
66.
Yeah, that's probably a little cold for me.
I like it a little on the chilly side, but
I like a little chillier too, but like 70 is good for me. 69, 68 I'm okay at.
But then in the I like it chilly in the summer too though.
Oh yeah.
So it's cranked down to like 66 in the summer. So my AC bill is bananas, but my heat bill is light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried my heat bill is going to be everybody's heat bill. Like they should give us this month, the heating company should be like, we're going to hook you up a little bit because that was
not doing that shit.
It was too cold.
They're not doing that shit.
I know.
You're thinking back to like when we were in school and you would like the teacher fucked up when she was grading your test and like accidentally said you got a question right when you got it wrong, and you go up to her and you're like, I got this one wrong, and she's like, well, because you told me, we're gonna let you let you keep the points. That doesn't happen in the real world. In the real world, they're like, fuck you. In the real world, if you go in, even if you have health insurance and you go and get a surgery or something, they're still like, we're not covering this.
I know.
You're like, I have health insurance. What the fuck? They're like, fuck you.
There's some things where I don't know. I feel like if a person gives me the wrong change, I'll be like, you gave me whatever. But if they give me a lot of wrong change, I might be quiet about that shit.
So there's a grace area, and then once you get beyond that.
I once had an ATM give me like the $20 bills stuck together or some shit, and like I'm not gonna say anything there because it's like a fucking big ATM company.
What are you gonna do? Call the ATM company or call the bank and be like, "Excuse me,
fuck that shit.
I have an extra 20."
They're like, all right, wait there, and we're gonna have to charge you on that the fee.
Have you seen this guy Howard Schultz, who's gonna probably run for president now?
So I was actually just in Atlanta, and I was talking to my cousin, and she told me that she used to like go out with his brother, like Michael Schultz or something like that. So she used to hang out with Howard Schultz and all this shit. He's from
the CEO of Starbucks. He was.
Yeah, he's from. Can you look up where he's from?
Let's see.
I want to say Brooklyn. She said they used to go to Canarsie, Brooklyn, and like hang out.
Howard Schultz. Let's see. Howard Schultz is an American businessman. He was CEO of Starbucks from 1986 to 2000, and again from 2008 to 2017, as well as its executive chairman. Blah blah blah. He is a former owner of the Seattle Supersonics. And
I think I knew that.
A member of the board of directors at Square Inc. He was born in New York City.
Okay.
And he went to Northern Michigan University.
Wow.
He's worth $3.3 billion.
Jeez. Oh, so he's running for president, right?
He wants to run for president, but he wants to run as an independent.
I fuck with him on that. I feel like you could. I mean, the cards are stacked against you when you try and do that shit, right?
Fuck him, man. Fuck him, because he's trying to run as like a billionaire, like centrist who's trying to tell Democrats, like his whole thing is like, come on guys, grow up. You can't have universal health care. What are you doing? Like that's his whole thing. His whole thing is I'm going to run as that guy, as like a Democrat. That shit? Yeah, against it.
I feel like he'd be for all that
he's
stuff.
Not.
Like,
he's against
it.
He's a fucking piece of shit. He's a billionaire asshole.
Huh.
And he's like, he just was on 60 Minutes, and his whole thing was like, listen, We got fucking crazy people on the right, and they want to build a wall, and that's nuts. But then we also got equally crazy people on the left who want to give everybody health care. And like, I'm running because I want to bring sanity back to the country. He's gonna fucking die in this race, son. Like,
he's probably gonna steal votes from people.
Well, that's what a lot of people are worried about, is that he might jack enough votes from the Democrat. Like, he literally said the only reason he would probably run is if the far left gets the nomination in the Democratic primary. So, in other words, if Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren wins, then he wants to run. And, like, he's openly saying all this shit. Like, they would rather turn the election over to Trump than have Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren win. He really is a piece of shit. And, like, so he started... He like just created a Twitter account because he wants to run for president, and he tweeted like 3 times so far or something like that. And every single one of those tweets, every response to those tweets was like, fuck you, you piece of shit. Everything, because he's he's stuck in the 1990s. His whole thing is like, say nothing, be vague, give platitudes and cliches, and then wag your finger at the Democratic base. And like his whole big thing is the deficit. Like, our national deficit is so high, we have to bring it down.
You should just pay that shit off with this fucking $3.6 billion. Like, just chip in some money.
And then he also fake created, he's doing astroturfing, which is you pay these companies to create these fake Twitter accounts that pretend to be in favor of you. He's doing that. So now there's like all these new Twitter accounts just popped up, like moderates for fucking Howard Schultz. And it's embarrassing. Like, it's all so fake. The only reason anybody's even talking about him is because he's a billionaire, and he like bought himself credibility by being a billionaire, and like the media is just giving him that free attention. Fucking Tulsi Gabbard, who's a congresswoman, announced that she was running for president recently. She's gotten less coverage since she announced she was going to run than this motherfucker's gotten in one day since he said he's probably going to run. Like, it's such a fucked up system.
Yeah, it's a weird popularity contest of just like celebrity, like, you know, if you're a celebrity or come from a big company or you have a big name, then the media is just gonna fucking like hawk on you.
Yeah, like why?
It's just like, we don't care about this fucking guy.
Why should we take you seriously? Why should we take you seriously? Because you fucking made a lot of money? Because you figured out how to sell overpriced coffee and get like gullible ass upper middle class white people to pay for it? That's why we should fucking care what you have to say? Fuck do you know about tax policy, dipshit? You don't know anything. You kidding me? Fuck this guy, man. And now he's mad because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez floated the 70% top marginal tax rate, which is every dollar that somebody makes above $10 million, you tax that at 70%. So it's not like taking 70% of all of somebody's money. It's anything that this dipshit makes over $10 million. So let's say he makes $11 million in a year. The first $10 million is taxed at a lower rate, and then every dollar above that $10 million mark, that's taxed at 70%. And he was like railing against that and saying it's crazy. Meanwhile, we had that in this country. We had that from like the late 1930s until like the 1970s.
Does he not have enough fucking money? I
mean, like that's the thing, is like this guy's got $3.3 billion, and his whole political ideology seems to be based on like, don't tax me more. It's like, fuck you, man. We got people in this country who are in poverty. We got, you know, kids who don't have health care. Like, this is fucking crazy.
And he gets free Starbucks for fucking life.
Do you have a lot of Starbucks?
Yeah, I get down on Starbucks. I mean, like, I fuck with Dunkin' more, because if you go between 2 and 6, they have, like, iced coffee or iced tea for $1.50, any size.
That's a solid deal.
That's the shit. That deal is so on point. But, like, Starbucks shit is mad expensive. But their caramel frappuccino is banging.
All of them loaded with sugar. That's the trick, is you just load it with sugar.
And then holiday time, they have the shit called the caramel brulee.
Sounds good.
Oh, that shit. Oh, it's so good.
It sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, that shit is banging.
But fuck Howard Schultz. Anyway,
yeah. Right, I feel bad for the first guy. There was the first guy who said he was running for president. He's like baldings, but got some hair like in the back of his shit.
Who's this?
I think I asked. What was the name?
Richard Ojeda?
Maybe. Does he have like reddish hair, and is he balding-ish, or is he bald?
What?
He's there's a Wall Street. He's a Wall Street guy.
Oh no, it's not Richard Ojeda.
Yeah, it's like some Wall Street guy that said he was running, and he was on like George Stephanopoulos' like Saturday morning show shit.
How come I don't even know who you're talking about right now?
If you know, if I like,
is it Democrat or Democrat, right?
Democrat, yeah, like first to run.
Democrats running for president. in 2020.
He's like a Wall Street guy, and like he got a little bit of love because he was the first to announce, but now it's just nobody probably cares about him.
Who are you talking about? I literally don't even know who you're talking about.
Let me see if I can find it.
Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris. I'm looking. I'm reading through the Vox list of.
Let me see.
Julian Castro? No.
No.
John Delaney?
Is he bald?
I don't know. I don't even know what he looks like. Representative John Delaney.
Let me see if I can find.
Yeah. I think this is him. Yeah, he's got the horseshoe thing on his head.
Yes.
Bald, and it's like weird colored hair. I don't even know who this fucker is.
That's him.
I don't even know who he is. The most notable thing about Delaney is he's already been running for president for 2 years, more or less living in Iowa, the first state on the presidential calendar. But he was the first. He was the first choice of just 1% of Iowa Democrats in a recent poll.
What if you're doing the podcast to him right now?
Bitch, who are you? I don't know who the fuck you are, and I follow politics for a living, motherfucker. This dude is not gonna get anywhere. Maryland politician.
You think the podcast would be successful if this was the thumbnail right now?
We should make it that.
Can you make that the thumbnail?
I can, yeah. John Kevin Delaney is an American politician and businessman who is running for the for president of the United States in 2020. He was the United States representative. Is he trying to kiss me? He was the United States representative for Maryland's 6th congressional district from 2013 to 2019.
Dude, look at this photo.
I don't know who you are, dude. Go fuck yourself.
Hey.
He's trying to act like he's jacked in that picture. Like who, me,
He's trying to just act like he's a normal guy who drives a pickup truck, but meanwhile he's a Wall Street multi-quadrillionaire.
Fuck this guy.
He's running for president though, like he shouldn't be allowed to run for president.
Oh, here we go. Delaney has frequently been referred to as a moderate. Oh, please. However, he does not entirely identify as such. Oh, fuck this guy.
There's going to be so many randoms. I remember, I think, watching like a convention speech. Oh, what was it? It might have been the Democratic one. Who was the good-looking dude from like, I feel like it was Maryland or something like that. And it was like Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and then he was on the stage. Like a good-looking dude, but older. And like he kept trying to talk.
And this was the 2016 Democratic, 2016 DNC.
And they're like, and they kept like cutting him off or not letting him speak. And he was like, you know, I'm a candidate too. And then even Bernie and Hillary were like, yo, fall back, dude.
Oh, Martin O'Malley.
You remember he kept trying to like talk and hijack this shit? And
super
like,
irrelevant.
Like 7 votes, buddy.
Oh, so funny. There was Martin O'Malley, and he came in third. There were other ones running too. There was Jim Webb, who bragged in a debate that he killed a guy. Literally. And then there was Lincoln Chafee, who's the most soft-spoken person on the fucking planet, who said like he voted for he said something like he voted for deregulation of Wall Street because his dog died or something.
Oh my gosh.
That makes no sense.
That makes no made
no sense.
Like
Why would you say that?
Yeah, so that's fucking random.
My dog died, so I voted for Wall Street deregulation.
Yeah.
He was saying something like he was having a bad day and he didn't know what he was voting on. Come on, son. What are you doing? Get off stage. Like in that one moment, he destroyed his entire campaign.
Yeah, just
like
walk
you're so
off stage after that.
He's so bad at being a politician. Like in that sort of situation, like a politician like Obama or Bill Clinton, even if they're not right on the issue, like they did something bad, they're smart enough to know how to bullshit out of it.
Yeah.
Like they can bullshit out of it where enough people are like, all right, good enough. Like, okay, fine answer. But he just like fucking tanked, man.
I respect the honesty of that shit though. There's sometimes where like I can't even lie and I'll just tell the truth, and they're like, and people are almost like, I would have preferred if you just lied about some shit right there. You know what I'm saying though? Like like you're like, dude, I can't even lie right now. Like I shit my pants before I came over here. They're like, dude, why didn't you just tell me you were just late and just lied about that shit? Like I couldn't even lie. I shit my pants.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh. Anyway, all right, that's a good note to end on. All right, guys. We love you. Hope everybody send Corin some love on Twitter. Hopefully he doesn't die in negative 55 degrees.
Oh, yeah. I should go back and check. Are people been showing me love? Nobody's supposed to be love.
Now they will. Now, when this drops, they will. They'll make sure you're alive.
Oh, anyway. You showed me that sketch. Shout out to that dude, the dude who drew that sketch.
Oh, yeah, somebody made a picture of us. Do you remember his Twitter handle? I don't.
I might have a picture of it still. That was what's up. If you do, like, a picture or some shit,
tweet it at me and Corin, and if we see it, we'll retweet it.
John Scrooge Balderas.
There you go. Thanks, dude, for making that picture of me and Corin. Yeah. It was a good sketch.
Kyle's face was a little chunky monkey.
Yeah, but I have a weird shaped face anyway. You know, it's not like a long face.
Yeah, but you have defined like cheekbones, which are good.
Do I?
Yeah, I think so. Like you could see like the indentation in it.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. I didn't know I had that, but I always felt like my face was kind of wide-ish, I guess. Like this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a long face. I have a face that goes... Anyway, we don't need to talk about this. All right, guys. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.